Good afternoon and welcome. I am Dr. Maya Burt-Stewart and welcome to our segment on health and wellness. Today we're going to cover topics that are very important. Today we're going to look at best practices to knowing and understanding how to take care of ourselves, and we'll also cover some important issues that are dealing with women overall. We have with us renowned Dr. J.D. Suarez, who is president and CEO of OLA MD, and a gentleman that has also served as the past president of the Dade County Medical Association. Without further ado, Dr. Suarez, hello, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Dr. Maya. And it's a pleasure being here with you.
Well, listen, let's just jump right into it. So, one of the things that we seek to do here is to promote wellness, right?
Yes.
Promote good health. And early on, I talked to you about, as in terms of being a military woman, one of the things that we learn in the military is mind over matter. And people, even outside of the military team, seem to take on that attitude, right? If you don't mind, it don't matter. Well, I found that in practicing that, even beyond my military years, it didn't fare so well for me, right? And so I would be sick or I would have to visit the doctor at times where it could have been avoided. And so one of the things that we definitely want to talk about is annual visits to see your doctor. Why is that so important?
It's very important, Dr. Maya. One of the biggest issues that we face as a family physician is catching things late. Mm-hmm. And that mind over matter, that's problematic. Yeah. Because you really need to address things. Yeah. We know that things are just so much easier when you catch it, at the right time. So the annual wellness visit that we all, globally should be doing, actually lets the doctor see if there's a problem with the patient. For example, a mole or something that's not right. Yeah. A lot of patients actually don't even know that they have medical issues going on because they kind of adapt to that, not feeling good.
Yes. Yeah.
So the annual wellness visit is very important.
And, you said it, right? Because we become so accustomed to feeling feeling certain things we know that are not normal. We know that are not something that's a part of us. The hustle and bustle, I guess, of having busy lives and of having to take care of family or having to make money or, just the many things that consume us. And so the annual visit certainly, right, we know is key. What are some of the signs and symptoms, or what are some of the issues that we may experience that you say, you find that are really key or really germane to getting to the doctor or, pushing us to make that call or make that move?
Yeah, so, it varies. One of the biggest problems that exists is when patients just let things go. You were telling me a story about yourself, how you let something go for a week, and I'm like, oh my God, that's like, you had that experience, and it's like, oh, why did she wait so long?
Yeah, I saw you cringe.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So if somebody has something that's out of the normal, for example, a headache that's you can't really explain, and that's why it's so important, the annual wellness visit, because these are things that you could talk to your doctor about, to your provider. Yeah. A mole that actually has changed colors, that could be an early sign of skin cancer. Nausea or something that's continuously going on, you could have hypertension. Look, hypertension is a silent killer.
Yes.
Especially in Hispanics and African Americans. And I mean, anybody that experiences these headaches or vague symptomatology, it could be diabetes, high blood pressure, You can have an occult cancer and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
So screening is so important, and having that relationship with your doctors. The annual wellness visit also picks up things that you may not want to talk about, like that mind over matter that you talked about. People get depressed or they're anxious, and you could pick that up because now it's almost like good practice to check on mental health. And some patients may be depressed and you may not even pick it up.
Yeah.
Or even for women, you know, do they need their mammogram? Do they need their pap smear? Could we catch a breast cancer early on?
Wow, and you touched on something that, again, I'm learning more about in terms of more people that I know are experiencing depression. What are some of the just really quick, some of the telltale signs of depression, and when should a person act? When should a person see his or her either psychiatrist, psychologist, or medical doctor?
Right. Your family doctor. Go visit your family doctor. A feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, having thoughts about death, suicidal thoughts, not, you know, getting up in the morning, not showering, or disheveled. Those are significant signs of depression. Sometimes there's earlier signs, like you just don't care about things. And you know, and it's not just the person, but the family members should pick up on that. And we should all, as a society, encourage our loved ones to seek medical attention.
And so, and I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad that, you know, certainly I hope that that information serves really well for our listeners and our viewers, right? Just depression in and of itself. And so you say start with your medical doctor, and then that, take it from there. If your doctor finds that you need additional support or additional resources, it can come from your doctor. And so I'm going to switch real quick. I'm going to go from one realm to another. So it's my understanding that this week is women's menopause.
Yes.
I think Friday is the day, Doc.
Yep.
I'm taken aback because I didn't know we had such a day, but I'd love to have you touch on that. So now every October, which is also Breast Cancer Awareness month, and here at Atlantis University, we are recognizing overall health, certainly breast cancer, and just overall health through the series that we're doing on as it relates to health and wellness, and talking about depression, talking about signs to ensure that we are getting the help that we need from a medical standpoint, making sure that we're not practicing mind over matter. Right. And so as it relates to women's menopause, right, what are some suggestions, I guess, in terms of how to approach it or how to deal with it, particularly since it's not something that only lasts a week or a couple of days typically?
You're right. You're 100% right. Look, and this goes into this preventative medicine and getting it out there and talking about things that are important. For many, many years, women have been suffering menopause. We're living longer. Women are living longer, and they're actually living longer without menstruation and actually suffering because of this hormonal imbalance. You know, and it's not just women, it's men also. You know, in women it's called menopause, like meno meaning, you know, your menstrual cycle, and then pause is like it stops. And then in men, it's andropause. So it's like,
I didn't know that.
Yes, because their testosterone actually goes down. So there's a big movement that's going on now in society. New studies have shown that actually hormone replacement is very important with bioidentical hormones, and actually looking at what the symptoms a woman has or a man has, and actually addressing them. So imagine you could start having menopausal symptoms or perimenopause, just before menopause, at around the age of 35, 37, 38.
Wow.
40.
Yeah.
Between 45 to 55 is around the time that you could get menopausal, and it can last up to 15 years or longer.
Wow.
And you're suffering with hot flashes. Did you know that 15% of women quit their jobs because of menopause?
Wow.
And
wow.
And they're suffering and not actually mentioning it.
Yeah.
And they signs of depression.
Yeah.
Their hair changes, their skin changes. They get palpitation, they get depression, anxiety.
Yeah.
They have problems with their skin, hot flashes, cold flashes. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on the symptoms that they have.
Wow. And so wow, up to 15 years, didn't know that, women quitting their jobs. And I guess, Doc, that just speaks to the severity of it, as, not on everyone, because I imagine, every woman responds differently,
right,
as it relates to menopause. But the severity of it, it sounds like, a quick fix, go and take hormones or take. Well, there are some that aren't able to do that. Are there more, and we don't have to get into it, I don't want to make you get into
right,
nitty gritty, but more natural resources to address menopause and andropause for men, other than the medications
right,
that are typically prescribed?
So, yes and no. Let me tell you what happened. We lost an entire generation of women because of a study that was called the Women's Health Initiative. When I was a resident in training, you were a bad doctor if you didn't put patients on hormone replacement therapy. And then this study said, whoa, wait a minute, women are getting breast cancer and they're getting heart disease and they're getting strokes and they're having all these medical problems because of the medication. So the problem is that the pills were basically synthetic and they were taking it orally, and it was an older crowd that was taking it. New studies have recently come out. So all these women did not take, we all stopped giving hormone replacement therapy because you were a bad doctor if you did give it. So, the medical community, basically, it's like, wait, give it, don't give it, where are we? So only 7%, there was a study that came out that only 7% of doctors feel comfortable treating menopause. And 70-something% of women don't even treat their menopause. And they suffer. And not only psychologically they suffer, but also at home with their spouse. They feel like they have vaginal dryness. Their intimacy is gone because they actually can't have, intercourse anymore. They get frequent urinary tract infections. So there's now bioidentical hormones and patches and a combination of estrogen and progesterone and testosterone that can actually help with that. And also there are some supplements that help certain women. So you could do both. It's targeted just for that particular patient, right? Per patient.
Gotcha. Wow. Never imagined we'd have this kind of conversation, or that I would have, this kind of conversation on a national scale. But it's interesting. It's important. Certainly, we're excited about doctors like yourself that know much about it, that's able to guide women as it relates to menopause, suffering, or, just need to be better educated. And so with that, Dr. JD, I want to close out, but here's how I'd like to have you take us out. What are some best practices, or what are some of the most fundamental actions or activities that we should be engaging in to ensure that we are healthy, or that we can stay healthy, or at least get healthy?
Right. Great question. Because you know what? That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Number one, your attitude is so important.
Wow. Yeah.
Try to live your life being happy.
Your best life. Live your best life.
Live happy. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, take care of yourself. Before taking care of other people, you have to take care of yourself. You have to eat well. You have to exercise. And happiness is actually, to me, mental health, because mental health is so important. And I would say that those three things, nutrition, physical activity, we're made to to work out.
Sure.
We can't be couch potatoes.
Sure.
Eating well, exercise, and mental health. Those are the three.
Wow.
Having friends, enjoying life.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. That's what it's all about.
And I'm going to close out, but you've touched on, something else that's pretty important. Mental health. That's been really a big deal.
Huge.
That's been really a big deal. And not in any one particular segment of life, across the spectrum.
Right.
Age, race, religion, nationality. It's really become a hot topic, and for good reasons, because for so very long we have not really taken care of ourselves from a mental standpoint, right? From a spiritual standpoint. But you're so right, and I say this, in order to take care of someone else, we must be well. And so you've kind of just solidified my thoughts on that,
Yes.
Dr. JD. Well, Doc, thank you so very much for thinking enough of us to be here with us today. Thank you so much for the valuable information that you've shared. I do hope that you will come back, because we certainly want to extend an invitation to have you come back, and we'll discuss other topics, and you'll share with us, just in other ways to ensure for just better health overall.
Thank you, Dr. Mariah. Thank you.
And so with that, we hope that certainly our viewers and our listeners, we've been able to say something that will prove to be of value and of help to you or someone that you know. Until next time, we look forward to sharing more information with you, keeping you abreast of our podcast. The series of podcasts covering health and wellness will continue throughout the week, and we hope that you will stay with us.